Hello and welcome to New Junction. So as you can see, I've turned my beloved Virgin liveried HST into an LNER liveried HST. Now I've not brought the new Hornby ends, I've actually used some Railtec Transfers. So this has cost me less than £10 to do. So hopefully this will make quite an interesting video for those of you who already have a Virgin liveried HST. So here goes. Right, so as you can see, we're working on my favourite engine on the layout. So, for those of you who haven't seen Hornby's latest release, which is this, the LNER liveried HST, which has a price tag of, I think, about £260 online-ish. That's provided me with a kick up the backside to have a go at applying transfers to what is my favourite engine. Now, as you can see, because it is my favourite engine, I've not wanted to do anything to it because I just love it so much. We all have that engine in our collection, and this is mine. But at the risk of spending too much money and displeasing the other half, I thought I'd give this a go because the transfer route is less than £10. So why not? Now, the price point for the Hornby's new release isn't the main factor behind giving this a go. Another factor is I don't want to replace these engines and then just have them sat around, because not only are the new ones a considered purchase, these ends, which were a considered purchase, would just be sat in a box for me. So just for my circumstances, it'd be a waste to purchase the new ones when this is an option. So I'm probably going to make a right hash of this, but let's give it a go. It's all part of the fun. Right, let's get over to the work table. So here we are on the trusty workbench. So just to run you through briefly what I've got for this project. You start off with your transfers, obviously. Now you do want to make sure you get the HST version rather than the Class 91 version, and I'll show you why in a second. Now obviously you'll need some scissors to cut those out. You'll need a small flat dish with some water in it, as you can see, to soak them up. I tend to find the tools best used for manipulating the transfer on the side of the loco, things like cocktail sticks, some cotton buds, and then some trusty tweezers. Now this will all become clear in the nervous panic when you're trying to get the flat transfer onto the side of the engines. Right, let's get on. Now, some of you know I've already done my Class 91s with these transfers. Now these are some of the spares I have from that project. Now as you can see, the transfer itself is very similar. This is almost it's a rectangle, but it's almost perfectly straight on every edge. Now you can't use these on the HST version, so you need to make sure you get the right one, and I'll tell you why. On the bottom stripe of the loco, you can see it up sweeps here. So this part of the line here isn't straight. It does start ever so gently to turn upwards. Now what they've done on the HST version, as you can just about see, on the first one, the bottom right hand side corner there, just cut away, and then of course you've got the left hand side for the opposite side. So this should hopefully fit perfectly where it should do on the side of the loco, and not impede too much on the stripe of the engine. Well, that's the hope anyway. So it's very important to get the right one, and of course all the details for where I bought these will be in the description below. Right, time to stop putting it off. to get on with applying transfers. Now, they say never work with children or animals on TV. I'm going to see now if transfers are going to be added to that list. Right, the trick with any transfer is always to stay calm and not be worried if it's in the wrong place. You can manipulate them with gentle prodding with the various tools, etc. Once they're on. But it can be a bit nerve-wracking. So here goes. I'm going to make the stupid decision to try and do this on camera and see if I can show you how to do it in real time. So here goes. I'm going to apologise now if my hands get in the way at any point, but the camera does come second. So as you can see, I've just thrown it in the water. I'm going to cover it over and let it soak for 10 or 15 seconds. Or as soon as it starts looking like it's peeling away from the blue backing, because what you don't want is the LNER sticker to start folding in on itself, which these do have a habit of doing. What I'm going to be doing is sliding it forwards and then sticking the top edge down and then hopefully sliding it off. So let's see if I can do that. This should be ready now. So very gently, see if I can slide this forward, which I can do. So as you can see, it's already bending around the blue paper. So I'm going to try, hopefully you can see that. Just want to line it up gently, pull it down. You want to try and get the front edge lined up, and then quite simply slide the blue out. And as I said, it looks terrible. The trick is to stay calm. We want to get the first edges, or the top edges I should say, in position. So that's going to need more gentle prodding. Just pulling into position. Ooh, you see, there you go. The whole thing moved. Priority here is to make sure it's in the right place and covering the logo. So I'm going to fold that over. As it dries, of course, it becomes less pliable, which is actually, it can be a good thing if it's in a general position like this one. Just trying to get rid of some of the air bubbles, which will probably be filled with water, just as it's drying in real time. So you can see I'm gently brushing it. I'm not too worried at this stage that the transfer at the bottom is just going over the stripe. Hopefully you can still see that in focus, because at a later date, once it's actually dry, you can trim that down or touch it up with a bit of paint. At this stage, the priority is getting the actual transfer straight and over the virgin livery. As you can see, I'm just going over it with a cotton bud, very gently trying to iron out any bubbles that are underneath it, and also push away the moisture, because as it's drying, it's sticking. You might start to form smaller bubbles underneath. So it's just gentle flying over. Now, as you can see, that went on quite easy, quite simply. It's just about keeping in control of it, and if it does move out of the way like it tried to, not to panic. And hopefully, just see there's whether you can see that on camera or not, there's actually just a couple of bubbles just forming as it's drying, but hopefully that's looking all right. So as you can see, just at the end there, it's just sticking over the upsweep, but that's not a problem at this stage. We can always cut that with a scalpel later on. So say the priority is getting that level. Right, so that hasn't taken long at all. I'm now going to let this dry and get on with another side. So while that's drying, I'm sucker for punishment. I'm going to do this one. And there we go. As you can see, the first one that I applied was actually too tall slightly. So what I did when I did the second set was I attempted to cut them down at the top, and then this has left me a bit more bang on, but ever so slightly too short there. So I've got the best of both worlds, really. What I would say is if you run an oval layout like me, it's best to practice on the outward facing side, and then the inward facing side you'll be well practiced on, and it'll be your better work. So hopefully you'll get that right, and as you saw in the video, it's not too difficult at all. It's just a couple of minutes of nerve-wracking moments, I suppose. So I'm just going to let these dry, and we'll get them back on the layout. Now, one thing a lot of you will notice is the coloration. Now, on camera, I mean, the actual HST itself is almost an orangey red, and the transfer is looking very sort of pale. In reality, it's not at all. You'll all know what colour the virgin red is. The transfer is actually much darker in reality. Now, it's not really picking up on camera, so what I'll do is I'll take some photos and stick them on the New Junction Facebook page for those of you who are able to see that. Hopefully it'll give a better example of them. But this does highlight a interesting difference between doing it this way with transfers or buying the new Hornby model. Now, in reality, the locomotive itself does have the squares because I suppose the logo is applied in a single entity to older stock. So as we can see from this photo, the HST itself is actually quite faded and a bit jaded in the sun, really. But the logo, as you can see, is quite bright and vibrant. So there is a definite definition to the square of the logo. Now, this isn't represented on the new model, which is, I suppose, slightly disappointing considering its price point, but we do get that as an advantage with the transfers. But hey ho. These should be dry enough now, so what I'm going to do is stick them on the layout, and we'll have a closer look again. So there we go. The LNER fleet is now on the layout, ready for service. So as you can see on the camera, the transfers do look a bit brighter, but in reality they look quite good. Hopefully that'll come out better in some photos, but I'm really pleased, and for less than a tenner you can't really go wrong. I suppose I've had the transfers now for well over a year and never really wanted to convert my HST because it is one of my favourites, as I've said before. I think with the release of Hornby's new LNER HST ends at a massive £260, it was the push I needed to give it a go, because worst case, if I mess it up, I can treat myself to some of those. But it was definitely the push I needed to give the transfer route a go. And to be honest, I'm really pleased. The other aspect, believe it or not, that pushed me to that is because I do have a virgin liveried HST. If I brought the LNER version, which I'm sure is amazing, because like I say, this one's not one of my favourites, so that one is bound to be, I'd be left with two obsolete HST ends. So it's a lot of money to pay out to then have two engines just sat there doing nothing, and I don't really have room to add another set, especially not in the virgin livery. So this felt like a sensible route, and hopefully it's come out well, and hopefully it suits the layout quite well. So if I ever get round to pulling my finger out to start a bit of weathering, I'd imagine it'll dull the transfers down a bit and hopefully blend it all in. So otherwise, for less than a tenner, I'm really pleased. As I've said before, the link to where I brought them from will be in the description. No affiliate there at all, but I'm very pleased. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone for watching this video. Hopefully it's been enjoyable to someone. It is nice to get making again. It has been far too hot in this loft. So for those of you who are used to regular updates, fear not, there is a layout update coming. That might actually be my next video. I've been slowly working away at the progress on the station side. It has just literally been too hot to really sit up here and film a couple of long videos. So I've been doing progress off camera, and I'll show you in an update. I'll also show you some new stock I've received. Now, I've brought myself a brand new engine, which is in this box, which I will reveal in the layout update, and that should be one very exciting addition. Now, if you can guess what it is, I might give you a shout out in the update. So get guessing. There was a clue in there somewhere. Right. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.